Yeah, there we go. It's there.
I'm gonna go.
Oh, wait. To make you feel better. And we're back.
No, that wasn't it either.
That wasn't it either?
Bless America. It's Random Ramblings with Josh and Kenny, and we're glad to have you, of course.
Apparently Kenny just doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
No, it's not nearly as fun when it's not organic.
Kick back. I got the nice chair.
You're welcome.
He hadn't bought a new one yet.
I don't need two gaming chairs in my streaming platform.
You know, you should move that recliner closer.
Thought about that too. Doesn't have wheels.
Then we could really kick back.
Lazy.
Yeah, well,
you know what?
We cover your L word.
Whoa. I addressed that with you at one point. I said we could put a dual range microphone between the two of us, and because there's two recliners in this office, along with my entire streaming setup, which is surprisingly spacious for an office, to be honest. And I made that joke, and you went, we just both fall asleep, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what would happen. Everybody would be listening.
Dueling CPAP users.
Actually, that kind of felt good. I probably should do it again. Allergies, Yeah, look at that waveform. I made something pretty.
It's a work of sound.
Yeah, I sit here and watch the waveform the entire time we talk. I rarely even look at him. Occasionally I flash him my belly button. I mean, it's... we talk about the intro and everything here and how I was doing it the same way and then changed up. And have you ever really, when you go to a store, restaurant, whatever, have you ever really wanted to be a smart ass to the person that says, hey, how you doing?
It depends on the day.
I mean, because there's times when it's like, I'm having a bad day, and it's like, are you asking the question to be polite because you think that's what you're supposed to do in that position? So let's just say the host or hostess of a restaurant. We'll just go there since a lot of what we talk about is food. And, so you walk in, and this person comes up with this big fake smile on their face because it's fake because they work in the food industry and they're tired. They're ready to go home. They go, hey, how are you doing?
There's also no time.
Do you really want to look at them and go, hey, my fucking head hurts. I'm tired. I'd really rather be in bed, but no, the wife had to come out to eat because she didn't want to make a sandwich. Uh-oh, I'm going to get in trouble for that.
That sounded way too real to have not been an actual thought that's passed through your mind before.
I can honestly tell
thank you for falling on the sword.
I can honestly tell you without risk of getting in any more trouble than what I already am. The other night, I got home from work, and I was tired. I was very tired. She was tired, and I looked at her. I said, do you have any thoughts on dinner? And I opened the refrigerator door, and it's some kind of weird thing that I do. It's like, do you have thoughts on dinner? And I open the refrigerator door, as if the refrigerator is going to respond to me.
No, but that's your blank canvas of, and that's my pantry. I may find a stroke of genius.
Well, this is exactly what I got. It's been a rough day. I haven't thought about supper. Honestly, don't really care right now. So if you'll come up with something, I'll make it happen. I'm like, well, I can cook my own supper, whatever. So I'll go to the pantry, and then it ends with, I'll get around to it. We'll figure it out later. I'll go take a shower. Before I get to the shower, she gets this. Oh, I'll call so and so restaurant and get you some hot dogs. Sold, darling, sold.
Right,
and that was nothing more than what? Neither one of us really want to fool with it. She might as well just looked at me when I asked the question the first time and went, you know what? Fuck it, let's eat out. And she's done that before.
So I am readily willing to admit that it is nothing for us to have just gone to the grocery store. I open the refrigerator.
There's nothing here to eat.
I open the fridge and go, I'm not feeling any of this. Let's go out to eat. We could have spent hundreds of dollars on groceries, and I feel like there's something predetermined in all of us. Nobody's exempt from this, and if you are, you're a fucking liar.
Yeah, no shit.
But we are all predispositioned to go, man, there's a bunch of stuff in here. And I don't think it's that we don't want what's in there. I don't think we want to sort through it. I think we're lazy and go, I want somebody to fix something for me.
I think because, first of all, the grocery store's traumatizing for me. I don't like the grocery store.
It's too people-y for you.
Yes, and I think what happens is once you've you've picked through it, you've bought it, you've found the one that's in date, or the one that has the date, the expiration date that's the furthest out, or whatever your case. You've compared.
Ooh, milk Nazi.
Yeah, you've compared. No kidding. Don't drink milk in my house unless you look at that damn date. I can promise you. But anyway, by the time you've done all of that, it is a hassle to grocery shop. By the
Load
time
it,
you've
unload
done all
it,
that,
put it away.
Sort your coupons, and then what's on the store sale. Because you got your little membership cards or whatever have you, because everybody's got a card or some kind of perks or something, and you've figured all that out. You've done math. You've done more math than you did at your high school midterm exam.
This is the stuff they should teach, by the way.
Yes, and so no kidding. And so you get done, you get home, you pull it all out of the car, and I'm one of those. I don't care if it's 100 bags. I'm only making one trip.
I've done that, and I have wound up losing groceries.
Whole reason I weight lift, so I can bring all the groceries in at one time.
Motivation champion. Motivation champion right there, boys and girls.
So there, by the time you've done all that, you're tired.
Right.
Who wants to get out the frying pans and the pots and the...
Then somebody's going to have to clean them.
You just stocked that cabinet, and do you remember where you put the damn beans?
Right, because it's now full.
Because, now you have to sort the bags and fold them and put them where they need to, because you need trash bags for your car, and you need trash bags for all the little bedroom trash cans, and that's what everybody uses those plastic bags for.
I assume if there was a group of people listening to this right now in the same room that started at the same time, they're all collectively having people will walk by going, they're all listening to the same song. Because they're nodding.
There's a 20-mile-an-hour wind from all the nodding going on right now. That's a guarantee. Chiropractors everywhere are loving this. Yeah. Anyway. But back to, seriously, have you ever, to a random stranger, you ask me, hey, Kenny, how you doing? I'm going to look at you and tell you the truth. My left nut itches. And, but we're friends and we do each other like that. Oh, that didn't go over well. We pick on each other like that. Don't give me that look.
Here, I'm going to take the torch for a second, and I'm going to give you a minute to think about what you've done. When I go into a place...
I never think about what I do.
When I go into a place and there is a greeter or a host or a hostess, I'm like you. This is a service industry. It is this person's job, whether they are retired or in today's market don't want to go find anything else, or this is the top tier for them. Whatever. Don't care. I'm not here to rain on your parade. I care too much in normal circumstances, because God love them, they're probably having a terrible day, and they have to come in and go, no matter what has happened in their home life, they have to come in and be chipper, no matter what, and they got to sell it. And so in that moment, I don't want to be that guy. I've thought it a bunch. Like, I'd love to tell you exactly how great my day's been. Let's see if you want to trade.
I have mumbled it so many times. So, hey, how you doing? Oh, where the fuck? I just mumble it and just.
No.
But now, and I've got places. I call them my cheers, but I've got places that I go to regularly enough. I know the staff.
Yes.
And
that helps.
You get there and it's like, hey, Kenny, how you doing? Where the damn? There's nothing in my house to eat. I'm starving.
That's the moment, if you know the staff, you're like, I'm fucking stuck here with you again.
Yeah.
How do you think my day's been? But again, you have that rapport with them. I don't want to rain on someone else's day, because my bad day could be my fault. My bad day could be a litany of other things that have gone wrong. It could be none of it had that person's issue. Now, if I were walking in, if I were pulling into the parking lot, they cut me off, and I watched them go all the way in, and then they're the greeter on the inside. Oh, it is on like Donkey Kong.
Well, see, now that is how I got to know some of the people at my favorite restaurant. It's an Italian place, and I went in one time, and they're like, "So how you doing?" Well, it's getting better. You serve pizza,
right?
It's like, and that sort of started conversations. And the next thing you know, you're friends with all these people, and you can call. They recognize your voice, and they know your order better than you know your order. Seriously, I have called. So is it going to be what you normally get? You thinking something different today? Really?
A buddy and I go out for breakfast pretty much every Saturday morning, and we frequent the same place because it's good. There's a reason we go there. We've recently had to swap because the one we love the most has unfortunately fallen victim to Small Business 2021, 2020, 2021. This stretch of this stupid decade.
Yes.
And so we've had to double back, and it's a place where we were going to before this one was more convenient for us.
Right.
It's just that simple. We go back in, and this is now week 4 that we've been able to actually go, and this is the first week I didn't take my daughter with me, so Mama could sleep a little later. The waitress walks up and goes, "Aw, I was hoping to see the baby." And I went, and we're home. Yeah. Like, when I watched there was a gentleman that sat down about halfway through our meal. He came in and sat behind us. I know this gentleman. I've known him for years, lived in the same neighborhood for a while. We're not on a first name basis, but he knows enough people that if I call him by name, he's probably lived near me, worked with me, worked for me, just whatever. There's that common, "Hey, how are you?" That's this place. He sits down as she rounds the corner with his drink choice. And I heard him go, "Creature habit, I guess." And she's like, if people order it more than 3 or 4 times every time they're here, I just go ahead and assume. And he goes, "You're not wrong.
It's probably not a wrong assumption anytime."
Well, not just that. To me, the fact that in that line of work, as many people revolving door as you see, and the amount of crap that wait staff tends to have to deal with from time to time, the fact that they know and care enough to know that I want ice water, and it's there the moment I sit down, no matter where I go, not only are you going to get a better tip than you normally would, and I know that's not why they do it, because it's just nice to have regular customers, but that level of service, to me, says a lot about you as a person.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It really does.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a favorite coffee haunt. That's what I call it.
Sure.
And they closed because of retirement. So it wasn't any of the stuff, any other stuff. That's what we're down to calling it now. But anyway, it wasn't any of that. They wanted to retire, and they sold out. But it was great. I was there 2 times a week because the job I worked at the time, I worked 2 early mornings. And I drove right past the place, and for a couple of bucks, I could get a cup of coffee. And a lot of times, I'd grab my favorite breakfast sandwich, and it turned into I pulled the door open, and I could hear it. "Hey, Kenny, coffee? You getting a sandwich today?" And it's like, before you get there,
it's ready.
It's ready, and you blindly pay. Don't even think about it.
No.
And you leave, and you say bye, and next thing you know, you're checking in on their children.
Absolutely. No, I 100% get it.
They had a son to go in the Marine Corps. I checked in on him consistently. And one of their daughters worked there. The other son was still in primary school. So you start learning about these people. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, they know a lot about you, and back and forth. And it turns into a Cheaters. Hi, Norm. You know, as you go through the door. And to me, that's great. And that's probably one reason why I go to that Italian restaurant over the other 4 million that's in this city.
Sure.
Is because those people know me. And it's a little unsettling when I walk in and it's everybody's day off. Or they've hired a lot of new staff, and all of my favorites are off today.
Right.
Because you walk in and you kind of look around like, what do I do? How am I going to handle this?
This is a new adventure.
I'm going to have to actually order my pizza the way I want my pizza. Jesus. Oh, help me.
Mm-hmm. No, I've been there, done that, and anytime you get... So, to answer your first question, not normally, because I refuse to be the guy to rain on that person's parade. I don't care how long I've been there, how long they've been there. I don't care how long I've been going there. I don't know what those people have to deal with. I don't.
The smart ass in me just...
Oh, no.
Is constantly running.
No. I didn't say I didn't think
It's the same thing as when you're leaving the grocery store. You got those 4 million bags that you now have to get up the steps all in one trip. And they go, "Have a great day." No. What if I don't want to have a great day? And I just spent $200 at the grocery store. My day sucks.
But none of that had to do with that person. And that's the only saving grace I get for not being a jerk at times.
Yeah, okay, well, the smart ass in me just likes to have a little bit of fun.
I hear you. I'm not saying I don't think the exact same thing.
So
come help me carry these groceries up the damn steps.
How many times have you screwed up and had to make a joke out of it with a complete stranger?
Oh, God. Let me count the ways.
Because, I mean, you are in a business now to where you talk for a living.
I have answered...
And then now we're doing this.
I have answered the phones on a call-in show that I do. And for lack of a better term, I do an equivalent of the Facebook yard sale, but by the phone for retirees. That's in layman's terms, for the most part, that's what I get. The majority of my clientele, not everybody, I don't want to typecast it too much, but for the most part, you could tell by the way folks sound, you can age most people. Stop hiding behind the pop screen. But I had one of those calls.
Getting serious, I got to mess with him.
Yeah, no. And the entire call, I'm convinced it's a guy.
Okay.
And I'm like...
So you've made that mistake.
And I'm like, thank you, sir, for calling. Excuse me. And then you hear it. Then there's the moment.
No.
You hear it? It's when they tell you you've screwed up that you heard it. And unfortunately in radio, there is no, sorry, you must be a chain smoker. That's my bad.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't do that. You are either prepared to take your licks and keep going, or you hope they have a good sense of humor and make a joke back at you about it, which 90% of the time they do not. And thank you. She will have a great day.
When I was in radio, because that was a past career for me, not the station that you and I jointly worked at. The other station I worked for, it was usually just one person in the studio at a time.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I'm talking, and that would mean the whole office.
Yeah.
Because it was a small station, and there were not a lot of employees, so a lot of times ended up being there by myself. And, business hours, doors has to stay open. Well, the studio, of course, has the window looking into the lobby. So somebody comes in, and, I'm doing an air check, doing a break anyway, and I'm doing my thing, blah, blah, blah. And, the person walks in, and they just stand and look at the window and, shrug, like I can be in a hurry. They can hear me in the lobby on the radio.
Right.
And see me talking at the same time. So, I throw the 1 minute sign up, the single finger and everything, and I get done with the break, stand up and just scream through the glass, I'll be right out. Sit back down and realize the mic is live.
That's every radio person's worst nightmare.
Cut the mic off. Let the song go ahead and keep playing. Go around the corner. Take care of everything. I hear that the song is ending, and this person is hee-hawing at me. I hear that the song is ending. I'm like, give me a second. Go back around the corner, key the mic, and I say, there are so many buttons in here. It is like running the Starship Enterprise. They started hee-hawing so loud that, because they got the reference, and right. They're laughing hard enough for me to hear them through the glass and everything. And it's like, I played it all off as a joke. That is about the only way you're going to win.
Yes. So
the only way you're going to win.
Well, unfortunately, that one happened at the end. So at that point, it was just click. And I went, I feel like I made an egregious mistake here. I am sorry. Thank you for calling, and on to the next one. Because there's no saving it.
No.
But the best part is the payoff pitch, as you refer to it in that moment, is the next caller is laughing their backside off.
They're already on board with the joke.
Or I get a text message from you that I can't read because I'm actually on the air.
I do that to him, by the way. I listen to that particular broadcast because of him. And I text him all through it.
And I get that. And if it's a generic list of items, there's nothing weird, because you'll get some weird stuff. Let me tell you, that is a minefield to manage. To get through that list of stuff, and then I get the notification that you were typing to me because it's through Snapchat. So they get the warning and then the actual thing. Like, I don't want the precursor. Now you've set an expectation. And then if you change your mind and don't send it, now I'm like, well, what the hell were you thinking?
There's going to be some people that are going to hate me when I get done with this, but I occasionally start typing and then quit and delete it just so that you have that. Sometimes it is a case of really don't have anything to say. Let's just mess with him for a little bit.
I knew it because you sit there and stare at it. It's like, hey, Kenny typing. I knew it.
Well, see, on the other end, every time you check to see if I'm done typing, your little emoji guy.
Yeah, so you know I'm there. I'm justifying you.
Pops up.
It's justification to you to be an absolute asshole. So
it's like whack-a-mole.
Well, the other thing is, every time if you start typing and then backspace to the beginning, and then start typing again, I get a new notification every time. I'm like, oh my God, finish the sentence.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my God, you didn't know that?
No, I do now.
Oh God. Oh yeah, because I've had a couple people go, finish your I don't care if the sentence is wrong, finish it. Finish the sentence. It's done.
You ought to see some of the jacked up stuff I send out too. Wrong letters everywhere.
But
and I expect people to be able to read it.
So this lady's list of items is very pedestrian. I mean, nothing crazy, nothing outside the window. And the screw up happens. And I've gotten that from you halfway through. I don't know if you remember this or not. She made I heard it at the end and I realized I'd made the mistake. Your message that had come halfway through that call was like, pretty sure it's not a guy. I'm like, hindsight's 2020. Thanks for armchair quarterbacking. But in the moment, I'm like, oh, I feel terrible. But again, I've heard voices that I thought were familiar.
Sorry,
totally not.
I am bad with the. I am horrible with I call them the Southern pronouns. Honey, darling, sweetie, bro,
yes,
buddy,
you
dude.
Are.
They're the Southern pronouns, and that's what I refer to them as. Yeah, I'm really bad. His wife grins when I call her darling, though, so it works. But I am bad with the Southern pronouns, and I have actually been on the phone, and when I should have said thank you, bud, said thank you, darling. And it just not work out as well as it should have. And
right.
It's like, of course, every once in a while you get somebody like a friend on the other side. It's like, well, you're welcome, sweetheart. I mean, you get that,
the comedy gold.
When you do it with a total stranger, like you're calling to check on your prescription or whatever, and it's like, hey, can I get to the pharmacy, please? And the guy that answered the phone says, yeah, I'll take care of that for you. You go, thanks, darling. Damn it.
So I've done that as well. And the moment, and I don't know if you, in that same kind of vein, because you, at one point you filled in on the show that I'm talking about.
Yes.
During your, anytime that happens and I know I've made that mistake, my first thought as the next guy starts talking, and there's a good chance I'm going to miss his information, at least the first item, because I immediately start looking at the phone, not the on-air phone, the building phone, to see if the main studio line, the main office line lights up, because that person is pissed.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm like, what was that first item again? I'm sorry, my pen tried to run out, and the whole time I'm trying to make the scratch noise into the microphone. And I'm like, all right, dodge that bullet. Yeah, I've made those mistakes countless times. Thank you, ma'am. It's a dude. Thank you, sir. It's a lady. Happens all the time.
All right, so here's
and it's not like in this world I don't know the difference. It's literally just a pre-programmed mistake.
So here's one. We go out to eat. Same couple pretty much every Sunday. We go out to eat with them.
Sure.
And this go around had a craving. Most of the time, it's like we gotta do the usual. We gotta go someplace different. It's almost like everybody gets into this whole you choose. But anyway, I had a craving.
Don't even start me with that fight.
Want to go get some seafood. Most every seafood place has like the 2-piece platter or whatever, where you can choose which members of the oceanic world you're going to consume today. So we're sitting there and we're talking as we're perusing the menu. Now, I do not eat enough seafood, and I'll just be honest, I don't have a taste for a lot of it. But I have my favorites, and I get in the mood, and that's what I want. So,
sure.
I glance down, find the special that I'm looking for, and I'm good. Well, then we start talking about the menu. Then we start talking about what seafood we do and don't like. And I'm a weirdo. I like oyster stew. I don't want the critter. I don't want to eat the oyster. I don't want to look at the oyster. I don't want the oyster anywhere near my mouth, but I like the broth from the stew.
So when you eat the stew, do you strain it and then consume, or do you eat what's in it? Do you pick around?
I pick around.
Okay, no, I'm just curious.
I pick around, and then when I'm done, anybody at the table that wants them can have them, basically. But anyway, that is like one of the few weirdo food things that I have.
Sure.
And I'm the same. Any of the mussels, the clams, anything with that same texture. I honestly just think oysters feel like a loogie in my mouth, and I don't want to eat deep fried snot.
Yeah,
I just don't want to. Love shrimp though.
Oh yeah,
I can go to town on some shrimp.
Absolutely.
But anyway,
crab legs. Game on.
Not big on crab meat.
Really?
Crab cakes. Part of that is I don't want to have to dig it out of God's original packaging.
I can understand that.
If I order something lobster, I've eaten lobster tail. It is absolutely decadent. I love it, but I only want the tail on my plate. Do not bring me a fish tank and say choose. And then
you don't want to be the executioner.
No, then and don't bring me the entire farting animal because it's staring at me now. And I got to crack its back open with some special tool. I'm not.
For the record, it's dead by then already.
I'm aware, and this is what I tell my buddies about hunting. They're like, "Kenny, you want to go hunting? I'd love to go hunting, but I'm not going to field dress the animal, nor am I going to butcher it." Like, what are you squeamish or anything? One, don't know what I'm doing. Two, do not want my future supper staring at me as I'm gutting it.
I very much have the same issue. That's why I don't hunt. I shoot at paper and powdered explosives, and
I even have issues sitting
appliances.
I've got friends that have trophies. I don't like sitting in their dens because it's staring at me.
I didn't do it.
I mean, I don't mind my dog staring at me because he's breathing. He's alive, and he wants some. Typically, he needs to shit.
No,
maybe in your car seat, but anyway.
Oh God, here we go with that one. God, I'd rather not relive that.
Oh wow! Next time I'm walking my dog, I'm bringing it in Josh's car.
Oh my God.
Anyway, but
you know what? That'll be the first thing outside of appliances and paper I shoot at.
Well, I can promise you, my dog's not going to shit in your car.
No.
My dog has this thing. Believe it or not, he likes a little privacy when he has to poop. He will go into the woods. He will go in tall weeds. Anything he can. If he has to poop out in the open where everybody can see him poop, you ought to see the just weird look on his face. He likes. We took him walking one time, camping, and the campground was loaded, and he literally had to go so bad that he just planted his front paws, and he was shooting a turd as he was pulling his hind legs up to hunch. That is how bad it hit him that he had to go. And he had this nervous, oh my God, hide me please look on his face.
So your dog has a vanity complex.
Yes.
So there have been studies done about this, and I it's such an interesting comparison. When you are in the bathroom at home, does the dog come sit outside the door?
Yes, actually.
Okay. Do you?
As long as I'm the only person in the house. I mean, if the wife is home, he's going to be wherever she is.
For the most part, I agree with you. But I have noticed, and it always, come out of the bathroom, dog's laying there. That's because, in the dog's mind, you are watching over them at their most vulnerable, so they're returning the favor. They know what you're doing. So because they're hunched over, popping a squat in the front yard, dropping a deuce, and you're just kind of, let's be honest, you're not looking like I'm confirming you're pooped because I don't want to go. I don't want that in the house. Like I confirm, all right, we're going to poop. And then I'm looking around. They believe us to be a threat assessment.
That's a question in my house. If you take the dog out, if you bring the dog back in, first question you're going to get, did he poop?
Absolutely.
And every time. I don't know. He was in the woods. He stayed in the woods for a little while. He come out kicking. That's what he normally does when he's done shitting. So we're good to go. I'm going to assume the dog.
No, I get it.
I'm going to assume the dog dropped one. But I get that question every time. And it's like, and since my wife's working from home right now, Anyway, if I take him out because she's busy when I get home, and when I come back, he hasn't pooped today. Did he poop? Oh, damn. I didn't know I was supposed to pay attention to that. I was talking to somebody on the phone.
I go out.
I was playing a game. Holy shit! I don't know what I don't know what business the dog had.
Nope.
Oh my God!
Nope. And it's funny the things that we keep a checklist on, and in that regard. But if you're ever curious, like, why the hell I'm taking a shit? Why are you outside this door? Why in the world would you want any part of what's going on in here? Now you know why.
Now I know why. Okay, so some dog psychologist interviewed. Speaking of not being able to talk, Anyway, I'm not going to go down that road because I'm going to end up insulting an entire profession. I actually understand that there are scientists out there that know how to study this stuff, where I just like to make jokes.
But that's kind of doubling back. That's why I don't hunt. I don't think I could bring myself to kill something that's just one. Yes, they are a pest. They are a pest of our own problem.
I prefer for all of my proteins to come sitting on styrofoam wrapped in plastic.
If I were to see how a cow was processed, I would probably give up beef. Fish, I don't have that fret with.
The first
for some
time
reason, I don't.
The first time I ever had fresh sausage off the farm was when I realized that there is a difference. It looks different.
Yep.
It handles different.
Yep.
It actually does taste a little different when you get it fresh and not from, a major processor.
Yep.
And it's better.
It's a preservative.
But I don't want to go pick out the pig.
No, I agree.
I don't want to go, hey, no, what's that one's name? Yeah, no, the one with the bent ear.
Oh,
yeah, he looks especially delicious.
No, you can't. You can't give me the first moment of investment. And I get it. Like I drive by a cattle farm who sells beef in a shed out behind the house. I've shopped there. It's delicious. I don't see the process. I walk in looking at cows grazing. I walk out with beef, and I know that one will probably wind up here.
Yes.
But there is a process that I don't see.
I'm okay with that part. I just don't want to be the person doing it.
No. I can't. Oh, see, I'm pretty sure if I watched cows walk into slaughter, I'd be done. Because I'm like, this is brutal. This is dreadful.
And as for fishing, those things come out of that water pretty freaking slimy, and then you want to cook it.
Same kind of thing. Like, but I don't have the complex of fish.
Well, you didn't meet it until it come out of the water, so it's not like you walked up.
That's true.
It's not like you walked up and
that could be a difference.
You hit the farm you're talking about and you go, hey, that one that's all brown, that one looks especially good.
I bet the tenderloin is dope in that.
Yeah,
guy.
I mean, it's like
right. No, I hear you.
But with the fish, it's like you throw the bait in there with the line and everything, and what comes out comes out. You pull it up and it's like, whoo, hey, we're having brim.
Nobody
and then
actually
you
eats brim.
Throw it over. That's the first thing that come to my mind.
I was like, nobody eats. That's not enough there to eat.
It's the first thing that came to my mind.
All right.
I honestly,
okay.
I fish for fun.
It's okay. I'm not
Fish
judging.
are friends, not food. That's wrong.
That is
by the way,
wrong.
That's a good movie though, but it was
very
wrong. Anyway, back to wow. Anyway, we'll go back to it. So we're sitting there talking about the menu with our friends, not our server, but with our friends. And server comes back. The typical. Y'all ready? You need a few minutes? So we all look at each other. You ready? Yeah. I mean, we literally.
You still have to confirm.
Confirm. You ready? You ready?
That's a politeness thing, though.
Yeah. So and then there's a spokesman for the group.
Everybody elects juror number one.
Yes, there's a spokesman.
There's always
for the
a
group,
jury spokesman.
And then it's like, yes, we're ready. And so then it's up to the server at this point. This is a game. I've been watching this for several restaurant stops. It's up to the server at this point. They are going to look directly at the person they want to take the order from first.
Ooh.
Well, most servers in a restaurant where there's no runners, that server's coming back. How much better does it look when they set your plate down in front of your face without standing there like a runner hollering, "Who got the special number 5?"
What tone did you just apply to that?
I don't know. Popped out. I'm never going to be able to do it again.
There was a tone.
I am never going to be able to do that again.
You chose to try. You threw a tone on the runner, and I'm curious where that tone came.
I can't help you. I don't know. It just happens.
Please continue.
Stuff just happens. We're never going to get this story. Is going to be 2 hours long. It's going to be episode 9,000. Oh, back to the restaurant thing. Because
the fate of the world is at stake.
Hey, Kenny threw some high-pitched nothing out there trying to, imitate a voice that doesn't exist because, it's better than a monotone story. I mean, we can't all do that commercial.
Sorry.
I'm loving
so
this, by the way.
It's just the way it happened.
And it's never the same. I never use the same voice twice. I can't.
No,
I can't control it.
It's just you chose in that moment, and I was just curious who it was, who the inspiration was. You don't have it. It's okay. Please continue.
I don't know. It just okay. Happened.
It's all right.
It worked.
I just
got you laughing.
It did.
Wish he'd been drinking at the time.
Yeah, no kidding.
As he puts the bottle up to his mouth.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So go on.
All right,
anyway, get back to it before we dig any.
Well, I've gone into this whole psychology behind waiting tables. So the server, I'm trying to say server over waitress. I don't know why, but anyway, so she looks over and she looks dead at my wife. So she goes, okay. And my wife, just as pretty as you please. I'll have the 2-person special with flounder and shrimp. And the waitress has paused. The people across the table from us are doing exactly what you're doing now. His wife's trying her best not to lose it.
Oh, no, we're done.
He's just giggling, going red-faced, then put his hand up over his mouth. Yes. My wife is intently looking at our server, telling her order.
She doesn't realize she's done.
And then there's me.
Oh, yes.
And then there's me. And I just turn and look at her and, okay, Hannibal, 1 person not enough? And then the table loses it.
It's done.
The server had to turn her back. I mean, she was about to die. And it's like, and my wife just goes, what? And then she went red-faced because she realized what she had said. So the rest of us are having seafood. My wife's putting together a small orgy. And we're gonna...
That's not how I expected that to go.
Really? You didn't?
Nope.
I'm glad I could surprise you again.
The 2-person special... I mean, we're still on food. You've taken...
Yeah, of course. That's my job.
Wow.
My whole job.
Wow. Like you just...
Yep.
You just pulled everything
Where
out of
did
the room.
that noise come from?
Oh.
Wow.
You just took all the... I took all the air right out of the room. That was weird.
No, you did. With whatever that was.
Well, okay.
Was that an octopus giving birth or something? What?
I don't know. Even less... Mine was a noise. Yours was a person. How are you judging mine? Mine was a noise. Yours was an actual persona.
Mine was an octave shift. So all I did was shift octaves.
No, you didn't. You didn't just... See, this is what you folks listening didn't get. Because when he did it, he held his hand out like it was up with the tray, and then he got a little head bob to it. And so, no. You picked a persona of someone. And I wasn't going to go into the mannerisms and the body language because nobody will appreciate it. Until this moment where you go, who got the number 5? And there's this head shake back and forth, and they didn't appreciate that the way mercy. I did. But no, there's a difference.
One of the other personalities must have showed up. there's 5 or 6.
Well, that's... Oh, my gosh. So did she enjoy her 2-person special?
Yes, she did. She even took some home in a box. Oh, wow.
Well done. I just...
the story in my head had a completely different outcome than this, but this was more fun.
But kudos to your server for attempting to turn her back to save face and not laugh at the customer, even though everyone at the table has set the they set the tone.
Oh yeah,
the rest of you set the tone by going.
We're having fun, and we just invited everybody around us to join in.
Right. So. But again, kudos to that person for turning their back and going, "Oh, I didn't just hear that. Oh, I didn't just hear that. Keep it together, Carol. Keep it together." Yeah. And then you turn back around, and then you 3 are laughing like jackals.
It was a real Mel's Diner moment. It really was.
But there is that. Oh, I am with you. I would have been. You want the what? You want the what? Would you like a side of Soylent Green? Is that what we're having here? Wow, it comes with 2 sides.
See, I would have continued that. I mean, so how would you like person number 1 cooked?
Well, either that
blondes,
or
redheads. What are we having today?
you could have done that route, or you could have gone. What two sides? The mashed kidneys are on special. I mean, you could take that. The only thing that would have been better would have been if she had just kept writing and either spat off just two random sides that would have fit the narrative, or just kept writing. And for you, and if you had been able to keep the stone face the whole time and not know whether you missed it or not.
Well, we all know. Everybody listening now knows that Kenny does not miss a moment like that. And
no.
I am never afraid to laugh. I was in the barbershop the other day getting in trouble because I'd made friends. I normally go to the barbershop like right when he opens on Saturday.
Sure.
That way I'm in and out. I'm usually at the worst third person through the door because a few people have learned my secret. Yeah. And the barber, he gets there early. I mean, and it's a case of he's getting there early to get everything prepared, but he's got the mindset, and
there's always going to be that one guy.
It's a business ethic with him. The door's unlocked, the open sign is on. If the door's unlocked and the open sign is on, I want you to come in and sit down in the chair. If I need to go make my coffee, you're going to have to wait for that, but you come in, you sit down in the chair.
You want to be ready when work starts.
Yeah,
that's how people should perceive it.
It happened by accident. I was going one Saturday morning. I knew he opened at 8. And I rolled out of the house, rolled up the road, pulled in, and it was like, oh, God, it's like 20 after 7. I'm going to have to sit here for a little while. But the sign was on. So I pulled up, parked, front row parking.
Yeah.
And sat there and kind of awkwardly stared in. And he leaned up from his newspaper and motioned for me to come on in. I opened the door, and I'm like, dude, you don't open till 8. I'm sorry. And he goes, no, I'm here. The door's unlocked, sign's on. Sit down in a chair. I looked at him. I said, you're going to create a monster with this.
Mm-hmm.
I said, because I got this thing about being able to come in, sit down, get a haircut, and leave. And the place is empty, so the conversation is ours.
Right.
You don't have to converse. You don't have to converse with the room. The conversation is ours, and which is even more fun because he's a big fisherman. I'm a camper, so we've always got stories for the other.
Sure.
And we've always got little hacks for the other one because sometimes with his fishing comes camping. Not the same way I do, but
right.
Every once in a while it's a weekend trip to his favorite spot, and he pitches a tent. But so I messed with him twice now. I've gotten off work early or something and just decided that, hey, let's chance it and see if I can get in and out. And I judge it by the parking lot.
Everything because is judged that way.
All of us kind of linger to the same section. And I'm looking, I'm like, okay, it's going to be about an hour and a half wait. I've got that. It's no big deal. I want to go ahead and get my hair cut and everything. And so I go in, and he just looks dead at me. He goes, something wrong? I looked at him, I got off early. I knew exactly what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I go over in the corner, sit down. And he's looking at the guy that's in this chair, and he goes, man's usually here 7:30 on a Saturday morning. And I'm like, we're going to make a big deal out of this? Oh, my God, there's people in here. So the dude I'm sitting beside, he turns, looks at me, goes, it's a good time to come in. I'm like, yeah, it is, but I got off work early today.
And now he's blown his cover.
Got off work early today. Now I'm, we're going out. I want a haircut. So I'm sitting there minding my business, and things are exchanging. Things are going on. This lady had her twins or whatever in, and, kids never sit still in the barber chair. It's fun.
I did.
Really?
Yep.
Threat of having your butt whooped, I bet.
To be honest, now, as an adult now, I don't like long hair. Like, I'm to the point now where I need to throw a razor to it and get us back to scalp level. Now, I am not straight razor. Let's go Mr. Clean. I just want low maintenance, and I'm reaching the point where I'm at maintenance at about half inch of hair. But my first haircut. Now you think kids kicking, screaming, don't want to be there. I sat there, and the look on my face. My dad even went so far as to take a picture, and my barber, up until he retired, had my dad made him a copy because my dad's that motherfucker. Yeah. He made him a copy, and he goes, and every time I'd go in, as he got older and older, just the mind goes, human nature. And he'd come in and we'd be talking, and he goes, I still got that photo. You're the only kid I know that didn't move when he got his haircut the first time. And he goes, and you've had the same haircut since. You got your first haircut, and it has been the same ever since. He goes, I have never seen anybody not move as a kid. As a kid, you're looking around trying to take it all in.
Yeah, these two,
I was convinced he was going to cut my ear off.
That was one of these two. Now, there's two barbers in my barbershop, and and their mom said it out loud. You get in that chair, you get in that chair. We got to get in, we got to get out of here. There's people waiting. Hurry up, hurry. The normal. Now,
moms don't do well at barbershops anyway.
The majority of us in there are guys, and I'm going to judge by the room. Most of us are dads, if not. Some of them, I'm sure, were granddads.
Yep.
We're all not smiling.
In the world of 2022, that age is a very subjective number. You do not have to have white hair anymore to be a grandfather.
But we're all not smiling. We're smirking. Mm-hmm. I mean, we know that this is going to be difficult for at least one of the barbers.
Yep.
And we're about to have some fun with it.
Who drew the short straw?
Quietest the room has been since I walked in.
The barbershop is a living, breathing animal.
Yes, and finally at the end, right at the end, the one that got the squirmer finally just said, "Hey, boy, you're going to have to sit still. You up, you down, you looking here, you looking there. I'm going to end up with a whole raw patch in your head." And I mean, just it kind of went off without going off, and his mom is like, "Oh my God, I've told you and told you, just sit still." Now all of us dads are giggling.
Yes, because you have a solution to this.
We're having a blast with this. Now, I'm the one in the corner that is hard giggling.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm always, and I've got, the dude I originally sat down next to, there's another guy kind of catty corner to me, and we've all really been watching this.
There is an unsung Three Musketeers to this moment, and you without putting your hand out in front of you going, all right, we're going to do this, hands in.
So it's happened. You've made friends.
Right.
and now, the boys are gone, and they got their haircut, looked good. I mean, and the squirmer survived. Mom paid, got them out of there, apologized to everybody, to which everybody, nobody really cared. So now the dude that's beside me is in the chair that is across from me. He's getting his haircut. Somebody else has jumped up in the other chair, and he's a talker. And we're going to talk about what he wants to talk about.
I've been there, done that.
And the barber he got's my favorite, and he's a talker. So here they go.
This is going to be forever.
The other barber, quiet. The guy in the chair with him, just trying to get his hair cut. There's this dude to my right that I have made friends with.
There is barbershop politics.
Don't know who the hell he is. Don't care. He turned out to be an awful lot of fun. So they get to talking, and we're not going to go into subject matter, but they get to talking, and then opinions start happening.
Oh.
I locked eyes with the guy in the chair.
The talker or the quiet one?
The quiet one.
That's what I was hoping for.
And he's the dude that was on my left. So I've locked eyes with this guy, and he just gives me that confused look. Well, in that moment, it's like, all right, maybe we're not on the same page, look away. And we both just looked away. And then I'm sitting over there, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. Dude to my right is now staring at me.
He's in.
He's in.
You got two of the three hands in.
Another opinion happens, and I look up. Dude in the chair just mouths, "Shit." And I started giggling. He started giggling. The barber working on him had to quit working. Because he started. Now he's over here fumbling with something so that nobody's watching him laugh. Dude beside me is just about to lose it. Dude on my right, he's about to lose it. And I just put my phone up like I was talking. Because my favorite barber is involved in all of this, and I don't want him thinking I'm laughing at him.
Right.
You don't want to piss off your barber any more than you want to piss off the chef at a restaurant.
Amen, brother.
So I got my phone up, and I look over to the dude to my right, and I'm like, I've got to be the only person that's going to get kicked out of a fucking barbershop for getting in trouble. And at that point, he lost it. He is now belly laughing. Dude across the way heard me. He's now belly laughing. We mouthed to each other the entirety of the opinion. As it just kept going, we kept mouthing to each other. Mm-hmm. We have no clue who each other are. We now know where we all work. Mm-hmm. But we don't know our names. We and if we end up in there again, there's a friendship there now.
Yep. Oh, the chemistry that comes in that moment is the purest form of brotherhood. Because I can tell you right now, without a shadow of doubt in my mind, you are not getting that moment at a beauty parlor.
No.
You are fortunate
Absolutely
to walk out of
not.
the beauty parlor with all your hair if you get into that kind of scrap. It is a cat
You'll
fight
get
and a half.
2,000 other opinions, but you're not going to get that kind of thing.
But to get this moment in a barbershop, and there's, I cut my own hair now. It's a cost savings thing. It's easy. I don't have to go and, as you say, wait an hour for, every haircut's different. You got the guy who just wants to get trimmed up and get prim and proper, and he's got to have the style and the this and that. Take it off. Take it off. Run a zero. I should get a discount because I'm a 5-minute cut.
Yeah. Not with my guy.
Done.
He'd start a conversation. He'll cut, conversate, cut.
No. I get it.
I got corrected a while back. Conversate's not a word. He'll cut, converse.
But I'm just saying.
We all now know who's listening.
That's why I do it myself, because of I don't always have that free time, and again, it's
Well, you hear what I do. I get up early on a Saturday,
Right.
and I will probably not go on a Friday afternoon ever again.
No. Well, my dad and I would always go when he got home from work. He would take me. My mom, she's like, you can either go with me to the beauty parlor, or you can wait till your dad goes for his next haircut. Well, I'd always wait because I love the atmosphere. I love the barbershop atmosphere.
The barbershop Daddy took me to. It was an event. You went, you got your hair cut, you waited, you got a Coke out of the machine where you could slide the Coke around the tray. It was an event.
Yeah, it was.
I knew I was going to get a Coke. I knew I was going to get a pack of peanuts or nabs or something, and it was an event.
Absolutely,
and I enjoyed every minute of it. And barbershops, for a while, at least around here, started to die out a little bit. So finding another one that's open, and he keeps the drinks. He tried to have a vintage cooler, but it broke.
Right.
But he keeps the drinks. The
roll it. And
the hunting, fishing, car magazines are all around.
Yes.
Old church pews to sit in, everything, and
the old JC's penny gumball machine where you drop it in, slide it all the way across, and you get one of the fruit stripe has longer flavor than this gumball did.
No kidding. But it's the whole experience. I found this guy by accident.
Right.
I happened to go into that same complex for something else, and it's like, oh shit, there's a barbershop. Okay, we're gonna try this place out. And I've always had a family member who's been a stylist, I guess, whatever they call themselves these days.
Sure.
Who's always cut hair, always in a salon, and it's a family member, so that's where I go.
Right. No, I hear you.
Well, gave the barbershop a try. Liked it. Mm-hmm. Well, then you get a phone call from the family member.
Why?
I know it's getting time for a haircut. Well, you know what? I found this barbershop. Oh, and I know you love that. Yes, I do, actually. And she knew, because I
the
told her,
willingness
I said,
to understand is plus.
making an appointment 6 weeks out for your next haircut's not the same as making an appointment for a doctor. It's just not for me anyway. It's like, as you're leaving, so it's about 6 to 8 weeks. Are you now just demanding that every 6 or 8 weeks I pay you $15?
Right.
Is that how that's gonna go? Is that where we are in this relationship?
The barbershop that I try to go to occasionally, just because the guy's been there forever. He still rocks the old cash register where you punch up what needs to be there, and when he hits the process button, all the buttons are wooden. Okay? Yes. It's wooden buttons, wooden frame, and then it's sitting on metal. When he hits it, you hear ding, smack, and you get a big-ass, heavy wooden tray for the money. Like, that thing has been around. That register is older than he is.
Yeah.
And he keeps that thing. I've never seen him work on it. I've never seen him have an issue with it because he hits the same 4 buttons. The same 4 buttons have no numbers left on them. You just know exactly where they are in the keyboard line. And it's all muscle memory for him. He can come over and look at me and go, pat, 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 pa-chung. There it is.
Yeah, see, my barbershop does not take cards. You better come in with cash. You better come in with cash. He said he did it because he wanted an old school, simplistic barbershop. And I am so grateful that he is there, that I tip him every time. Don't care. Here's your tip. Don't.
Yep.
This is, for me, it's a really great environment, and I like the fact that I don't have to plan it 6 weeks in advance. Don't have to call and make the appointment. It's just, hey, got time. And see, I'm an up early kind of person anyway.
Yep.
Most days I am up 5 o'clock, 5:30. It's the time I get up for work, and it's a 7-day-a-week thing for me. Now, unless I stay up until 1 or 2 in the morning, but most of the time it's bed by 8:30, up by 5:30.
Right, and life routine,
and that's me. So for him to open like that on a Saturday, that's perfect.
Right.
But this was just one of those weird, and I'm glad I went because I had a blast.
So I feel like for me, if there were ever, and I don't want to run down the trendy guy barbershops that they've tried to make, with like the there's one in particular where they're like, man haircuts, we've got TVs and all of our stylists are smoking hot, and nothing against the gimmick that is that.
It's a different license, right? There's a barber license and a stylist license or a cosmetology license or something like that.
Okay, did not know that, but I've learned something new today, so there is a success there.
I hold a few professional licenses.
Yes.
And I just happened to stumble upon looking to see, kind of a who.
Yeah.
Because mine are under the Board of Health, and then I got a few that's under the Department of Transportation. I've got a lot of different credentials, but it was just interesting. My sister went through the cosmetology school, and then I had a few friends in high school. One of them actually apprenticed, but she apprenticed to be a barber, not a cosmetologist or a stylist. And I did not know until, I ran across her at a barbershop, and, she cut my hair, and we just got to talking. And I was like, I always figured when you were talking about an apprenticeship, it wasn't this. I said, but wait a minute, you would have been in a salon, right? And she looked at me and says, no, there's 2 different licensures out there for that. So at least, and if I'm wrong, I'm happy to admit it. But last time I talked to somebody, there's a barber license and a cosmetology license. So I guess one can do all the frills and thrills and perms and cuts and dyes, and the other one can just cut hair. I don't know.
I think there's chemical composition, and I think there's chemistry that makes the difference.
It must be. I know that my cousin that was cutting my hair, she might as well have been a chemist.
Right. I mean, they're mixing
I've heard
and matching.
Her talking about how to. I mean, she playing to get the right color.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a minute. I thought that was
out of
number
a box.
6 out of a box gave you the Reba Red. I mean,
there are a lot of those, and if that's what you want, that's easy. But there's now layering and all this, that, and the other, and a little bit of here, a little bit of that. You got to find the right stuff, and mix and match, and I don't. I do think though.
See, that was my other thing was all the different chemical smells and stuff in the salon.
Yep, it'll wear on you.
The
perm.
Yeah,
God knows. Why is curly hair that important to you? That you're willing to smell like a chemical dump?
Like the kid on Charlie Brown, I have naturally curly hair.
Well, but I'm just saying, like, my grandmother used to get a perm. I didn't want to hug my grandmother after she got a perm. Not that it was the burnt hair smell that came with the dryer while you let it set.
Yeah,
it was the chemical components of the perm that made me sneeze. And
that was always my thing with the salon environment was, and there's always 5 million different smells because somebody is doing this, somebody's doing that, and it's a lot.
But I think if I were to have a grandiose plan in life, I have no want or need or itch to scratch when it comes to cutting hair or anything like that. I think it would be cool if money were no option to own a 3-chair barbershop just to go and hang out. Just to go and enjoy the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, I get it. But I mean, because we had a blast Friday. Well, me and those two anyway. We had a blast Friday. And the people that were talking and in on the conversation that we were giggling at, like a bunch of immature little brats.
I just don't want to see that industry die. I guess is probably my take there is.
I'm thinking that, we've talked, I'm out and about a lot for my job, and I've noticed a few more barbershops.
Yes, I've noticed a return. This one.
So a return's going to be great. And it's probably a case of there's a lot of guys like me that don't necessarily want to style. Just, shape up the beard and cut the hair, please.
Right. Well, and I think that has a lot to do with it. But there's an atmosphere, and this is everywhere. Every niche has its own place like this, for the most part, you've got the Cheers of the world, right?
Yes.
You have the bar where everybody knows your name. You've got, for ladies, you've got the salon. You go to your one lady, but you know every lady in that building, and you know their backstory because at one point or another, they've all taken the floor and you've heard the rigmarole. There are your musicians. They play at bars, or there's a musicians club or something or the music store where they all get together and you're all playing the same crap that you play every weekend at every other bar, at every other restaurant in and around the community. But at some point, you all get together and it's like a writer's room.
It's fun to know a member of the band.
Right.
Because they'll come up, like, the other night we went out to see a friend I work with, his band.
Right.
Well, of course, he's going to come talk to us because, hey, thank you for coming out and supporting us.
Of course.
And then all of a sudden you're starting to meet other band members from other bands that they all know because they decided to come out and support each other.
Right. There's an arena for that.
Yeah.
To support
next thing you know,
artists.
you've got a list of places that's going to have live music, and thanks to social media, you've got a list of band names to follow on whatever social media.
Right.
And now you're starting to have different ways of being entertained, and that's kind of it isn't on topic with what you're talking about because that was a recent thing too. That's awesome, and the whole writer's room, as you call it, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And for
an outlet.
Yeah. For us guys, I mean, I get in the barber's chair and the whole conversation turns to camping. And painting trucks and stuff like that, because I mean that's the last thing he and I talked about was my truck was being painted, and I just gotten done with my season of camping, and so it picks up. I mean, because this is a guy that I'm now friends with.
It's an interesting way though to practice public speaking, to be honest, because when you're in that chair, you're the star, buddy.
Yes. It's your turn,
so
and anybody sitting across from you is going to join in on your conversation.
Right, and it's an opportunity. It's a melting pot of ideals. And now I'm not saying world peace has ever been found at a barbershop, and it's not all just wrenches and truck. I mean, it's
all sorts of stuff. Yes,
there's a life flow. You know what everybody else has got going on, because when you finish, they may not have finished their conversation by the time the haircut's done. I kind of want to know how that story ends. Occasionally, you'll get a guy that'll stand in the doorway and finish the story before he leaves. But a lot of times, my time in the chair's done. Well, we'll see y'all later. And he'll carry the rest of it home with him. Kudos to the barber for not going, motherfucker, you stand right there and you finish. You don't get to leave and not tell me.
I sit down and
I want that melting pot to continue. Like, that's something I want to see continue to flourish, because it's too easy for there to be the connotation of, I go to the beauty salon, I go to the stylist. I mean, God knows, salons fight like cats and dogs amongst each other for people.
Yes.
Barbershops don't do that. No. Because that one guy goes, and you go wherever he is.
Yes, and you go and you sit down. And now, like, I have a favorite of the two.
Of course.
And I'll wait for him, because he's my favorite of the two.
I don't care.
The other guy knows that I favor his partner, and he's fine with it. He's okay with it. I know him by name, too. I will talk to him. If he's the only one in there and I need a haircut, he's going to cut my hair. But when it's my turn in the chair, though, I try to kind of end the conversation as I know, because I know how the haircut's going.
Right.
And I know when we get to a certain...
don't, that's a problem.
I know when we get to a certain point, it's coming to a close.
Yeah.
So I'll make a final statement on whatever conversation, and then I'll keep quiet and let the barber carry the conversation.
Right.
And as he does that, because I'm no longer interacting, he's starting to interact with who's next.
Right.
So it's almost like a passing of the torch to the next guy. That way I can get out the door. But
that, and the other way to end the conversation is if you can make it to the point, depending on the barbershop, where they bust out the compressed air line.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, sweet, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, you're able to finish the conversation, and it's usually okay, buddy.
Sense of accomplishment when you hear that air compressor.
And that whole atmosphere, the more I think about it, the more we talk about it, I don't don't have the financial capital, or don't have the wherewithal at this moment. I wouldn't know where to start. But at some point, I would want to have enough. If money were not an option, I would open. And it wouldn't be grandiose. It would be exactly the setting you go to, just so I could go and enjoy.
Yeah.
Just go and enjoy.
Like they used to be the corner slot.
Yes.
In a shopping center that is not big enough for anything else than a
But
barbershop. And you've got two, three chairs lined up on one wall. And then you have all the waiting area lined up on the other wall.
Yep. I'd
5 million Field and Stream and car and truck and I'll say it, every guy magazine, every guy magazine on the planet
that does not have nudity in it.
It does not have nudity in it. Everything's going to be politically correct. When there is a female in there, we all clean it up.
Absolutely.
When they're not, then it's whatever. But the instant mom comes in with a child, and sometimes moms had to bring the girl child and the boy child. So when there's a female in the room, the room knows to clean it up.
Absolutely, and that's
it's a gentleman's bar without all the smoking and liquor and beer.
I think that's why I'm drawn to it as much, because I don't partake in any of the others. That's the closest I'm going to get. Yeah. And I think that's why I'm drawn to it, and I don't want to see the industry die.
I'm so tickled I found him. I don't know what to do. I mean, like I said, it's a convenience thing for me. I can go when I know I have time. I don't have to decide 8 months from now if I'm going to have time, and I don't have to make time.
I think that's where we should finish, fellas. If you have not, find a local barbershop if you can and support them.
Yes, because or open one if you're looking for a career,
or that too. That's an excellent option.
And as always, don't be a dick.
That's right.